up the Orbit 2 shift before handing over to the Orbit 3 shift that will carry this crew from launch to orbit. The two spaceflight veterans and one first-time flyers will be launching today aboard the Soyuz TMA-09M spacecraft to the International Space Station. NASA astronaut Karen Nyberg will be making her second trip into space today and her first aboard a Soyuz. Her first space flight to the International Space Station was 5 years ago aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery on shuttle mission STS-124. Then she operated a robotic arm to install the Japanese Kibo module onto the space station and relocate the Kibo logistics module to its permanent location atop the Japanese laboratory. Nyberg will be serving her upcoming 5.5 months aboard the space station with another seasoned flyer. And that is veteran Russian cosmonaut Fyodor Yashikin, who will be making his fourth trip into space today. His first flight was aboard STS-112, the shuttle Atlantis, to the space station, a mission to install the Starboard 1 truss as part of station assembly work. His next spaceflight was aboard Soyuz TMA-10 in 2007 to the International Space Station. He spent 6 months aboard as commander of Expedition 15 and performed 3 spacewalks. Yashikin returned to the station 3 years later aboard Soyuz TMA-19 and served as flight engineer of Expeditions 24 and 25, adding another 2 spacewalks to his record. Yashikin will transition from Expedition 36 flight engineer to Expedition 37 commander in September after the departure of Chris Cassidy, Pavel Vinogradov, and Alexander Mazurkin. Italian Air Force Major and European Space Agency astronaut Luca Parmitano will be making his first venture into space today. A test pilot with more than 2,000 hours of flying time, he's qualified on more than 20 different types of military aircraft, as has flown more than 40 different types of aircraft total. This mission launches under the call sign Olympus, chosen by Yashikin to represent the mythological name of the tallest stone mountain in the solar system, and the similarities Yashikin has noted in the endeavor of building the International Space Station. There's a look at the crew patch. Talisman that you may see hanging over the commander's seat during the ascent is a small toy dog that was given to Yashikin more than 30 years ago by his high school teacher as a wish for good luck. Both Yashikin's call sign and talisman are the same ones he used on his flight aboard Soyuz TMA-19 back in 2010. Right now we are standing by at 55 minutes and 42 seconds to launch of this Soyuz spacecraft from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan on a single 6-hour mission to the International Space Station. The Soyuz rocket that you see there on the launch pad stands 162 feet tall and weighs 680,000 pounds. Both the rocket and the spacecraft share the same name. Today's launch will be taking place from the Baikonur Cosmodrome launch pad number 1, known as Gagarin's launch site, from where Yuri Gagarin launched in 1961, becoming the first human in space more than 52 years ago. Back now with a live view of the Soyuz on the launch pad in Baikonur. We are now just 54 minutes and 50 seconds away from the launch, with liftoff remaining scheduled for 3:31 p.m. Central Time, 2:31 a.m. on the steppe of Kazakhstan near Baikonur. The Soyuz spacecraft that will carry the crew to the International Space Station was mated to its booster in Baikonur on Saturday. Here we have some footage that was recorded. The Soyuz rocket was transported by rail car to the launch pad shortly after sunrise on Sunday. Here's a look at that rail car and The Soyuz then, with its lifted into the launch configuration at the launch pad. Soyuz spacecraft with its 3 crew members on board sits high above the 3 stages of the Soyuz booster, which uses kerosene and liquid oxygen as propellant. The first stage has 4 liquid engines strapped to the side of the core vehicle. As we look at an animation of the Soyuz launch, each will burn for about 1 minute 58 seconds before they drop away. The core engine of the first stage also serves as the second stage and continues to burn until the 4 minute 58 second mark into the flight. The core engine of the first stage also serves as the second stage and continues to burn until the 4 minute 58 second mark. The third stage has a single engine that will burn for about 4 minutes 2 seconds, shutting down at the 9 minute mark of the flight. At that point, the Soyuz will be in its preliminary orbit of 143 by 118 miles. The whole Soyuz spacecraft is 23.5 feet long and weighs 15,650 pounds, is comprised of 3 modules. The descent module, situated in the middle of the Soyuz vehicle, contains customized seats for the crew members during launch, entry, and landing, and contains all the controls and displays necessary for the flight. It also contains light support systems, batteries for re-entry and landing, and the parachutes and soft landing rocket engines to slow the Soyuz just before touchdown when the Soyuz lands in Kazakhstan. There are 8 hydrogen peroxide thrusters located on the module that are used to control the spacecraft orientation or attitude during the descent until parachute deployment. It also has a guidance, navigation, and control system to maneuver the vehicle during the descent phase of the mission. This descent module weighs 6,393 pounds with a habitable volume of 141 cubic feet. About 110 pounds of payload can be returned to Earth in this module, and the descent module is the only portion of the Soyuz that survives the return to Earth. The orbital module, meanwhile, at the top connects to the descent module via a pressurized hatch. It is where the crew has a small amount of room to move around during this first ever 6-hour flight to the station. Actually, it's the first 6-hour flight to the station. It has a volume of 230 cubic feet with a docking mechanism, hatch, and rendezvous antennas located at the front end. The docking mechanism is used to dock with the space station, and the hatch allows entry into the orbiting complex. The rendezvous antennas are used by the automated docking system, which uses radar, to maneuver toward the station for docking. This is also contains a window in the module. The propulsion module houses the oxygen storage tanks, attitude control thrusters, avionics, and communications and control equipment. The propulsion portion of this module handles all orbital maneuvers, including those needed for the rendezvous with the station and the deorbit burn at the end of the spacecraft's mission. Before they're deployed, the 2 solar arrays are folded against the body of the propulsion module, which separates from the descent module after the deorbit burn, along with the orbital module. The solar panels span almost 35 feet. The entire capsule serves not only as a